Good afternoon, Camp Davy Crockett.
I'm Hayden.
And I'm Zeph.
And I'm Stephen.
And welcome to the Camp Davy Chronicles.
Summer camp is here. It is week 1 when this drops.
That is true.
Scouts are on camp property and the season has officially begun. How my gosh. It's finally here after all this waiting. Steven?
Yes.
How
you doing?
Are you ready to be our guest?
I guess so.
I was a little worried that the slow reaction time there. All right.
Yeah,
it was a slow reaction time.
I think we do need to talk about something real quick. All of us have been working very hard doing stuff throughout the week, this past week, before this episode.
Very true.
It's also this is Wednesday night, and we are all kind of tired.
A little bit.
And
that makes it more fun.
A little bit tired.
Yeah, this is going to make it a fun episode.
I spent over an hour today working on the flowers out in front of the dining hall. They look really good.
They do look really good.
Yeah. I put a picture of one of them on Instagram a few days ago. And yeah, there may be a picture of the full 50 on when this drops on Sunday.
Interesting. We'll have to I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
It's the 50th anniversary, and so the number 50 is written in marigolds in front of the dining hall.
And it looks really cool.
It's
awesome.
All the people that worked on it worked very hard.
Yes.
And everyone should compliment its looking goodness.
Yes.
It's
complimented
goodness.
Yes.
There's also a fleur-de-lis next to it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And it also looks good.
It also looks good as well. Yes.
Okay.
So, Stephen, a.k.a. Stephen, a.k.a. Stephen.
A.k.a. Zeph.
A.k.a. Oh, yeah.
Apparently, me and Zeph are the same persons.
Yes. So
I'm just going to go through this entire episode just pretending to be Zeph the entire time. And we'll see if anyone notices.
I'll pretend to be Stephen, and no one will know the difference.
That is true.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm here to be interviewed. What do you have to ask me?
All right. So it turns out I'm the only host this episode.
Okay. You have 2 guests. So anyway, after all this time of Hayden saying that we're the same person, we finally have us both here. So you can determine for yourselves if we are the same person. We are both homeschooled, which
there are a lot of similarities. We're both homeschooled.
You're kind of the same height.
We are kind of the same height, kind of the same build.
Yeah. Almost the same hair color.
I don't know.
You have the same hat on currently.
That is true. We are both wearing this Camp Davy Crockett 50th anniversary staff hat.
We are wearing the same Scout shorts, belt, socks.
Actually, I'm not wearing the Scout socks right now. It's okay. Shame. We're not on duty right now.
But so speaking of not on duty, we are recording again live from the podcast HQ.
Yes, and if you've checked the YouTube, there should have been a video studio tour. Mm-hmm. It's very cool if you want to see what it looks like in real life to be here.
Yes, yeah. And I don't know that it shows the awesomeness of the space.
No, it does. It's very awesome space.
Yeah, it's got character, that's for sure.
We can't hype it up enough. When you look on the video, you will be blown away.
We are living the like tiny house life.
Living the podcaster dream.
Yeah. Yes. So I like to imagine that this is what every podcaster does.
Probably.
I mean, they're definitely. So we have a table.
Sits in the shit.
We do.
We have microphones and a computer. That is
most
basically
podcasters probably have those.
Yeah, and so I feel like this is pretty decent setup.
Speaking of people that are exactly like me, though, I just want to make a comment on this because I knew I was going to be with Steven on the next episode. But also, when I was at camp school a couple weeks ago, I met someone else who was like exactly like me, like in some scary ways. Like he was also homeschooled. He knows all of the Star Wars soundtrack stuff, just like me. Wow. He could hum it along with me. We had lots of inside jokes and ecology stuff, like Tunicates. Do you know what a tunicate is?
No. I can't say that I do.
A tunicate is one of the 2 kinds of chordates that are not vertebrates. So that means it has a spinal cord, but no vertebrae or bones. And it lives in the ocean, and it's just like a little blob thing, and it like squirts out jets of water. So it's also called a sea squirt.
Oh.
And at camp school, this was one of our inside jokes at ecology, is we made lots of tunicate humor.
Oh, interesting. So was there any animals that you discovered over the past couple weeks?
I didn't tell you, though, the guy's name was Anthony.
Oh, Anthony.
Not our Anthony, though. Different Anthony.
Well, that makes 3 Anthonys that I know of that we know.
Who's the other one?
You can't just... Anthony from The Office, Anthony from theater.
Oh yeah, that Anthony. Yeah, I know him too.
Yeah, he went to. Nobody knows who we're talking about.
No one knows who we're talking about. But anyway, we know lots of cool Anthonys.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are cool. One of them might not. I don't know. Anyway, the Office one. I don't know.
Yeah, he's pushing.
But Anthony, if you're listening, he's probably not listening. He doesn't care.
He listens.
Does he?
Katie made him listen.
Oh, okay. Anthony, since you're being forced to listen, just know that we appreciate you.
All right. So I think there's a couple things that we need to address before we actually get into the interview.
Yes.
We actually have Steven this week.
We do.
We do actually have Steven this week.
We finally got our schedules.
At long last.
How did it feel to be delayed, Steven?
I was deeply hurt.
I'm sorry.
I do have to say, so me and Steven are cabin mates, and he cried for at least 2 nights, continuously.
Just some nonstop tears.
Bawling. I mean, it was bad, and I had to tell him it wasn't him. It was purely Zeph's scheduling conflict.
It was all my fault. I'm so sorry, Steven, for hurting you in this way.
Yeah. But Mike was happy.
Yeah,
Mike's probably happy.
Yeah, Mike had a surprise appearance.
Yeah, that's true. So it was interesting. There's also one other thing while I'm thinking about it that I want to mention.
What's that?
So 2 episodes ago, because we had Mike's episode last week, and then the one before that, we made camp predictions.
That's true. We did make camp predictions.
And I think Steven knows where this is going.
I know exactly where this is going.
I also know where this is going.
I can finish this. Okay, so 2 episodes ago, went through camp predictions. One of the predictions was how many Dime Awards we would get over the course of the summer.
Specifically talking about Scout Weeks.
Yeah, we did.
Specifically about Scout Weeks. Like, we weren't counting ROTC Weeks at all. And Hayden made the guess of 53, which I believe.
JD and I both thought was a really gross overestimation.
I will admit, when I was listening to that episode, I heard 53 and I was like, no.
Okay.
No, that's a little optimistic right there, buddy.
After I've thought about it, I definitely think that 53 is a little pushing it, but you'll hear the rest here in a second.
Okay, so, made the prediction, 53, on the same track now. So, last week, ROTC week number 1, all the ROTC cadets can try and earn their Dime Award. So, we had like 100-something cadets last week, all going through the rifle range trying to get their Dime Award. And by the end of the week, you'll never guess, Zeph, how many cadets earned their Dime Award. 53. 53.
Yeah, which is really weird. Like Steven said, we didn't account for ROTC weeks, but if we did, I would have been 100% correct.
For that specific week. And then it would have been way over by the end of the summer. But you'd still have been closer because my guess was much lower.
Like 2.
I think his guess was 7.
It was definitely a upper single digit number. I'm not sure.
Now we just have to wait and see. It's like 7 kids every week get their Dime Award. No more, no less.
Yeah.
But then it all adds up to close to 53.
Exactly.
Well,
that would be cool.
We'll see. Cool. I have a feeling I'll be closer, but maybe it'll be exactly in the middle. Who wins then?
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see who wins the prediction war.
Yeah, I say we probably figure out how to do polls somehow and see who's the better person. That's how we figure this out.
Okay. Well, are you ready to be interviewed, Stephen?
Yes, I am.
I am excited for this.
I am excited as well.
If you can't tell,
I've been waiting for this moment for 2 weeks now.
2 weeks, bawling continuously.
2 weeks. Well, it's only been 1 week since it was supposed to come out.
Yeah, that's true. But you asked him a long time ago. Anyway.
That's true. I did ask him a while ago.
It's like the first week was just tears of excitement or tears of joy. It's like, I'm going to be interviewed.
And then the second week.
Tears of sadness.
Exactly.
Very sad. Well, you're here now.
I am here now.
And you're happy, right?
I am happy.
Good.
Enthusiastic.
That sounded very certain that you were happy now.
Absolutely.
Well, Stefan, what is your position here at Camp Davy Crockett?
All right, so this year I am the shooting sports director for Camp Davy Crockett.
Oh, wow. Director.
Wow.
I am Hayden's director.
It's weird because we can't interview Zeph's direct. Why? Because we could. We could interview Dell. But
JD.
Oh, yeah.
Which we already did.
Oh, so we interviewed all of our directors. Good.
Perfect.
Done.
Got them out of the way.
Maybe it's a trend. I had noticed a trend that we talked about. We have interviewed all past shooting sports.
That's true.
We have.
So maybe they're picking favorites or something.
This is what I was worried about because Mike wasn't planned to be on, but now we've done 3 shooting sports people in a row. We're definitely going in another direction with our next guest.
Yes.
But we can't tell you yet who it is.
Yes, we didn't do it on purpose. We wanted to interview JD first because JD, is the program director.
Right.
And so we had to do that. And then Steven just is a cool guy, and so we had to interview him. And so that was the plan. And then Mike was just around when I turned around and found out that Zeph had a scheduling conflict. And so I pointed at him and said, hey, you want to record a podcast?
I will say, I think we have finally run out of shooting sports people to interview.
Well, there is Dan, technically.
Yeah,
there is Dan.
That is true. Maybe one day.
We will see if he ends up popping up somewhere.
Yeah. What are your previous positions?
All right, so this is summer number 6 for me on camp staff. So my first year, I worked on merit badge staff mostly, but also on the archery range. The next 2 years, I was the archery instructor. 2020, I was the trading post manager. And then this year and last year, shooting sports director.
Yeah, we give you a lot of grief for being the trading post manager.
You do give me a lot of grief for that one.
Yeah, because as we suffered away on the hot range.
So just to give your listeners some context, 2020, there was supposed to be 2 archery instructors down at shooting sports, both me and Hayden. And then, week 1 is about to roll around and the position for trading post manager becomes available. So I suspect that there was a meeting with Dale and the upper management of camp just sitting in a room saying, so who's an over 21 staff member who we think is responsible enough to run the trading post?
And they picked you.
And for some ungodly reason, they picked me.
Everyone else said no. And
everyone else said no.
Because you're responsible, Steven. You're a great person. You're a great stand-up guy.
He's sitting.
What?
I am sitting right now.
Hayden.
Anyway, so we give
you got most of the ones right.
You did a great job as trading post manager, Steven. As a non-shooting sports, as a proud non-shooting sports staff member.
That's true, yeah.
I will say I enjoyed having you running our trading post.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, it was a fun experience.
And then now you're back to shooting sports where you should belong.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever.
All come full circle.
Yeah. So, do I get to ask the next question?
You get to ask the next question.
Oh man, this is what I've been waiting for a while. So, Steven Kusick.
Yes, hey.
I think we need to address how to say your last name. Because I say it multiple different ways, and I have said it so wrong many different times that I don't know how to say it.
I feel like that works for both my first and my last name.
Yeah.
But my last name is by far the hardest to pronounce.
So properly pronounce both of them.
All right. So first name, it's Steven with a PH.
Okay.
Now, when I'm on camp, I'm usually referred to as Stefan.
Right.
So, honestly, someone called me Steven not too long ago while I was at camp, and it felt weird whenever they said it. So, for any of you listening, if you're going to be here at camp and you find me walking around somewhere, I will probably respond quicker to Stefan than I will Steven. Yeah. Anywhere else, any other time of year, you find me somewhere off of camp, I'll respond to Steven a bit quicker than Stefan.
Right.
All right, so then the last name is Kusick. And how I always tell people, it is spelled and pronounced the same way as music, but with a K on each end.
Music.
Kusick.
Oh.
It's not Steven Music.
It's not Steven Music.
It's like music, but with a K.
I just said
the M is silent.
Yeah.
The M is silent.
The M is silent.
Perfect. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the backstory on you being called Stefan is because there were 2 Stevens on staff when you arrived. Is that correct?
Yeah, my first year there were 2 Stevens on staff. There was me, and then there was Steve-O, who was the aquatics director that year.
And his name is spelled correctly with a V.
What do you mean correctly?
Because V says V and PH doesn't say V.
No. Every most famous Stevens out there in the world right now spell their name with a PH.
I'm not going to fact check that right
now because I can't. But I'm going to ask the next question.
I mean, you can fact check it.
Oh yeah, and that's the next question.
What a
you're the one who went off track.
Troop plus years in scouting. So what troops have you been involved with, or just a troop? And how many years have you been in scouting? And a little background.
All right, so I joined scouting pretty late. I joined when I was 13. Okay. And I joined because I was recruited by our current camp commissioner, Earl, who we went to the same church, and the church we went to was also the charter organization of the troop I ended up joining, which is Troop 160.
Okay.
So, stayed with 160 till I eagled out in 2016. And I stayed on for a couple years as assistant scoutmaster.
Yeah. You can keep the trend going and just not know what year you got your Eagle. JD didn't. Zeph, or not Zeph. Mike didn't. I'm getting confused.
Did I say 2016? It's like,
you said 2016. So, so you just have to continue on with the tradition of not knowing.
Exactly.
So, I knew when I got mine, and I still know when I got mine.
I'm Eagle class of 2019.
I got mine in 2017. Whoa, I got mine the year after you did.
Man.
I didn't just realize that. I didn't see, because I always assumed that you were like way older than I am. I always thought you were like 40.
Not that much. Do I look 40? No.
You don't want me to answer that.
I will say though, I now I can't English today. I apologize to your listener. I will say the position as student sports director has for the past while now been occupied by Mike Wolf.
Yeah, the 108-year-old. As he said, 51 going on 70.
I will say, ever since I took on this position, I feel like I've been getting more and more gray hair on my head.
Which right now, sitting within the white light, your hair looks white almost. So,
well, he's also wearing a hat over it.
But he took it off just looking at it.
Okay.
I did just take it off.
So it all just glistened.
There it is.
Yeah. No one can see, but he has gray hair.
I can see it. I was actually about to ask, before you commented on it, do you think the shooting sports director job has grayed any of your hairs?
Yes.
And then you just said that it did.
Yes, all.
Well, not all. There's still some black in there.
There's still some.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I feel like all the gray hairs on my head right now have probably been from camp in some form or fashion.
That would make sense.
Probably. Camp is a big part of people's lives.
It is.
Speaking of camp, what is your favorite campsite and your favorite shelter?
All right, so my favorite campsite is probably Buffalo campsite.
Ooh.
Okay.
Just because that's where, whenever my troop would camp down here for the summer, that's where we would always stay. That one I think we camped in Lower Badger, for a year or two.
I thought you were going to say Mountain Lion.
Again, keeping the trend of your troops campsite, which is, that's a fair argument.
Yeah. Buffalo is the sister campsite to Mountain Lion, our favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're keeping a list, we've got Mountain Lion, Buffalo, and the Wolf campsite.
Right.
And so we'll see if we get the rest of them. I'm interested to see if we can check them all.
Every campsite by the end of the summer, even though we're
maybe there's only like 4 weeks. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Somebody will come in and be like, my favorite campsite is this and this and this and that, just to fill out the list on purpose.
Yeah, I might do that. But what was the other part of that question?
My favorite shelter.
It's an important question.
That is an important question. That is a good question.
I don't know that I can answer that. I know I can answer it for this year, but if my answer for this year wouldn't have happened, I don't know that I would have been able to answer it.
I remember asking you on one of our last episodes before the summer season started, and you said the covered archery, and then you also said the headquarters shelter. Yeah. May it rest in peace.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I have got to use the covered shooting line for 2 weeks now, and it rained one of those weeks, and oh my gosh, it was wonderful. I stayed dry the entire day, which is a rarity around archery.
Covered shooting line is actually really nice.
Yeah. Steven got to come down and use it for a little bit, and
I did.
It's nice and shaded, and
it doesn't do much about the heat, but it does a lot about the sun, which is probably the worst part about teaching archery is you having to stand in the sun for the whole time.
And there are also a lot of sweat bees, I hear tell.
There are a lot of sweat bees down at the range.
But we think we have a solution for that we're working on, so it's even better.
We just have to avoid wearing any bright neon colors.
Yes. Yeah, that is definitely part of it.
So, but you still didn't answer the question.
I still didn't answer
the question.
Keep getting sidetracked.
We do keep getting sidetracked.
That's fine.
So, honestly, it'll probably be, it's one of the ranges.
But which one?
That is an excellent question. See, I have sentimental attachments to all of them. Because archery is where, whenever I first started on camp staff, it's that's where I would teach all my classes.
Right.
Rifle is where I'm teaching all my classes now. And then shotgun is where I took my first shooting sports merit badge with JD Lawson as my shooting sports instructor.
Who's that? No.
So
which one is it? You gotta pick one, Steven.
All right.
The people need to know.
Rifle range. I'll go with rifle range, where I'm at right now.
All right, hard stance.
Hard stance.
Take the hard stance. Never back down. Every time for the rest of your life, if someone asks you, you gotta say it now. Unless you change your mind, it's fine.
Yeah, no changing your mind allowed. Interesting. That is not what I thought you would pick.
What did you
I don't know what I thought you would pick. I figured it would be trading post, but
trading post.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know if Trading Post counts as a shelter. When we say shelter,
So that's the question. What does count on it?
I would say a roofed pavilion without walls.
Right. In my mind, that's what the shelters mean.
Yeah. So that's what I would consider.
Now someone's going to come on and be like, the shelter in Beaver campsite or something like that. Like, I feel like we're talking about program shelters.
Right,
but,
yeah, I think so. Yeah. We're going to go on to the next question, which is a little bit out of order, but because it was made that way, not because it was a mistake.
What? Okay.
The next question is, what is your favorite meal in the dining hall?
Oh, that is a good question. Are we talking things that are currently... Well, we don't quite know what's currently going to be on the menu for the whole summer.
Either dining hall.
Oh, that is a good question. I mean, we do serve a lot of really good food.
Yeah. I still am with my favorite meal of last year with the cherry blossom chicken.
Now, that cherry blossom chicken was amazing, and I really liked that one. But I want to try and pick an answer that hasn't quite been said yet already. Right. So, I know last year they also did like it's almost like a roast beef type thing with gravy and...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember what it was called. They called it something.
They did call it something. I can't remember it either, but I know having it, and I know thinking it's like, this is actually really good.
Are you talking about country fried steak?
No, it wasn't the country fried steak.
Yeah, that's not very... I mean, it's good, but it's not like top meals.
I can't remember what you're talking about, so...
I vaguely remember. Okay. I think we only had it like once.
Oh, well, I was going to say, if they serve it again this year, point it out to me. Yeah. Maybe it was a one-time forever thing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I hope it's not, because
But we were talking today specifically about this podcast, trying to just think of things to say and talk about. And you had mentioned the small personal pizzas that they used to sell or do out in the old dining hall.
Yes.
Those were
pretty
good.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't burn them, those were amazing.
The circle ones.
Yes.
Not the square ones.
Not the square ones. No, the circle ones that, like, when you bit into them, the cheese ran out on the plate.
Yeah. And
speaking of pizza, they also do, like, a pizza casserole that's pretty good.
Yeah. We haven't had that in the new dining hall.
Oh, no. While we're talking about meals, they did lasagna the other night.
That lasagna.
They killed it on lasagna. That was good lasagna.
That was.
I mean, they've been doing fairly well with the meals this year.
They have.
And they have been good. I mean, I had a couple hard biscuits, but that's to be expected when we have biscuits almost every morning. But all the other meals were amazing.
Now, we have biscuits fairly often, but normally they shake it up a little more in the Scout weeks.
Well,
For ROTC, we've had
ROTC
like
week,
every day.
It's more...
Yeah. A little more standardized. I mean, we always have the bag lunch with the ham sandwiches and whatever for ROTC. But
for Scouts, they do. Yeah. We don't have biscuits every morning.
Yeah. So, all right. And now, in defense of the order of the questions, Hayden, this is the order that I had written out in my notes like a while back, preparing for the summer, and then last episode with Mike, you changed the order, or JD.
All I'm saying is that you had sent me a list for JD's episode,
right? And
I just copied it for Mike's episode.
Well, but things changed since JD's episode, and we rearranged things.
Well, you know what's the interesting part about this? I'm going to change up your order even more because we're at the halfway point. And so it's time for all of our halfway point business.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
What is the word of the day?
All right, so the word of the day is going to be an interesting one. So... the word of the day that I have picked is malaphor.
Oh.
So what a malaphor is when you take two metaphors or sayings, combine them, and make a whole new saying that has a whole new meaning.
Whoa.
I hope you have prepared.
You better have an example. Yeah.
I have an example, and I use this example a couple times just in normal conversation. I only just discovered what the term actually was.
Interesting.
So, the example I have is when you combine the two phrases or the two sayings, don't burn your bridges, and I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Obviously both of them talk about bridges.
Right.
Well, you combine them, and you get the phrase, I'll burn that bridge when I get there.
I think I've heard that. Which,
the meaning of I'll burn that bridge when I get there means I don't know what's going to happen later on down the road, but I'm sure I will mess it up somehow.
That brings us to a good point that we discussed earlier. Is, as the director of shooting sports and stuff, you get to put in charge of a lot of shooting sports business.
Yes.
And when you're in charge of a lot of shooting sports business, or just in charge of a lot of business in general, You have a tendency to have a lot of like material things, and just you're put in charge of a lot of things that could go wrong.
I am in charge of a lot of things.
And so, you have a history.
Oh no, I know where this is going.
What?
You have a history of taking something that works fine and Stevening it, and somehow it doesn't work anymore.
Okay, so just to clarify, I'm trying to think of how to word this where it's like doesn't sound that bad from like a me perspective.
Right.
So it's like when a thing comes into my possession, I don't break it. The thing just tends to break when it is in my possession.
That is true.
Now that I'm saying that, it sounds very wrong.
It's
So
a little suspicious.
Well, no, it definitely, he's right. He doesn't do it on purpose, obviously. He's not trying to. But the saying that he said of, I don't know what's
I'll burn that bridge when I get to
is definitely a Steven saying.
it is.
I was going to say, I feel like I've heard JD say that before.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Okay. It feels like
probably
a very...
where I picked up.
It feels
that
like a very
phrase.
JD thing to say.
But yeah, Steven breaks a lot of stuff.
Now, I feel like I do need to start giving some context to this. So, this wonderful trend that I found myself in started in, I want to say 2018, my second year. My second year on staff, my first full year on shooting sports staff. So, it's staff week. Me and Mike are working at the rifle range, and we're working on the berm up at the rifle range.
You broke the berm.
I did not break the berm. So we were using the tractor to, clear out the berm.
Yeah,
and,
as you do.
The tractor has two seats on it. It has a driver's seat and it has another seat in the back for the little backhoe. So Mike was going to use the backhoe to, clear out the berm, as you do. But we found out that if no one's sitting in the driver's seat, the engine will shut off.
Okay.
So Mike turned to me and said, okay, I'm going to get on the back seat. You stay on the driver's seat. And just to make sure that it doesn't turn off. And it's like, okay. So I climb up there. Mike climbs in the back. And, he's working. I'm kind of turned around, looking over my shoulder, watching Mike work. And then he's working for a couple minutes. So by the time he's about done, I turn back around, look down at my feet, and turns out the lawnmower's leaking something.
No.
Oh, gosh.
Turns out it was leaking a lot of something. A lot of very important something. So we just spent the entire summer just having a big pool of hydraulic fluid in the middle of the rifle range.
Oh dear.
Just killed all the grass in that general area.
I would expect it to.
That's a really good example because he did nothing there. It was just the simple fact of him being on the machine
Exactly.
that broke it.
Maybe we'll have to make up some new metaphors.
Well, no,
there's been a lot. I feel like it's one, and as much as I hate to say it, it's not small things either. It's one thing. Every year I've worked here since 2018. In 2018, it was the tractor. 2019, I want to say it was a pressure washer, which the pressure washer I will take blame for. It's like that was definitely me. 2020, it was a golf cart.
Okay. Those break all the time, though.
Those break all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I found a way to break it a new way.
Okay.
But and then last year, 2021, it was some muzzle loaders.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was some Frontier Camp muzzle loaders that we were using for the program that we were doing in the mornings.
Right. I feel like that one was kind of a joint effort, though. We messed those up together.
well, stay tuned through the summer, and we'll let you know what gets Stefan this year.
Yeah.
Also, on an unrelated note, if David Doan, our Frontier Camp director, is listening to this podcast, I'm once again going to express my apologies for breaking your guns.
And to be fair, we didn't break them where they couldn't be used. They were fixable, and they got fixed.
Okay, that's good.
They did.
That's good.
But it was like the golf cart, broken a new way that didn't know it could be broken.
Well, I think it is time to move along, but we still have to do the joke of the day.
That is true.
Now, I've been asked to supply the joke for this day.
I also have a backup joke.
You have a backup joke?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, here's my joke. Did you hear about the man who got hit by the same bike every morning?
No.
I did not.
It was a vicious cycle.
It's funny.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I don't think the backup joke will need to be used.
Okay.
But I'm going to say it.
Well, I was going to say keep it in
You
store.
can't leave us.
No. Because I was told that I needed to start bringing some milk carton jokes into our
Oh, good
life.
grief. The milk cartons at the dining hall have
Jokes.
They
on
have
them.
jokes.
They are at least attempts at jokes.
Yeah, and so I read one tonight. Actually, I read it a couple nights ago, but I
Okay.
read it again tonight, and it reminded me of that. And so I'm going to ask them. They know it, but this is for the listeners.
Okay.
So
I'm worried.
what is called a
How long can you keep it up?
Someone should start a timer.
Okay.
Oh, it's gone.
Well, I don't know, Hayden. What is it?
A cow without lips.
Ha 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 ha.
It's
Very
pretty
funny. It's only funny because
You're trying not to laugh.
No, it's
Like,
only
it's
funny
one of
because
those
you're
jokes
making
where it's so
yourself look
bad
like a
it's
fool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still hold my opinion of our very first joke about the rock band was the best joke
What?
we've
The
said
rock
so
Mount
far.
Rush.
Yeah, that was
It
our
took
best
me
joke
like so long
far.
to get it. Okay. Anyway, all right. Hayden, Stephen,
Steven.
you.
Yes.
What is your favorite Marvel movie? We're going back to the interview phase
Oh
now.
man,
Okay.
we're
All
moving back.
Getting back on track.
Gotta move along here.
All right, so my favorite Marvel movie. So I know Mike, last episode,
Yes.
said Spider-Man No Way Home, which that was a really good movie.
It
Which
was.
Yeah.
I was thinking of saying that one because, I grew up on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, so that was my entire childhood right there.
Okay.
But
That's
I'm
all
going to
you
go down.
watched.
I'm going to go down a little bit of a different path. I'm going to say my favorite Marvel movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Ah,
Mm.
that is a very strong one.
Also
It is a
a
very
good movie.
Yeah, I would say that's my favorite MCU film.
It is a very good movie. It's
Interesting.
one of those movies where it doesn't really matter how many times it pops up on TV or something. It's like,
You see,
I
you
enjoy
gotta watch
watching
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And there's a lot of stuff in that one that you like. You can watch it multiple times and catch more stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that's a good thing about a good movie is
Yeah.
that you can watch it multiple times, not get bored, and catch more stuff.
And it's one of the ones that feels less superhero-y fantastical to me. It's just like a really cool
It's a little
spy
bit more
thriller.
grounded than
Yeah.
some of the other ones.
Yeah. Is Captain America your favorite Avenger also?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's mine.
If
I
we're
don't,
talking
know, I don't
about.
know who would be my favorite
Yeah.
Avenger.
Okay.
It's a lot to ask.
Anyway, speaking of things to ask.
Oh, we're gonna ask more questions.
Oh.
Oh, this is my favorite question. I've been
boy.
waiting on this one for the whole interview. What is your favorite camp story or stories?
Well, I don't know that we have time for a lot of stories.
We can get a
No.
couple.
Okay.
Nah, I got a good one.
Okay.
Okay, so this was. Oh, what year was this? I want to say this was my third year on staff. This was 2019, I believe. Could have been 2018.
Okay.
So, for those of you, dear listeners, who don't know yet, we do some emergency drills here at Camp David Crockett. We have a
Sure.
code red, and for this story, you really only need to know the code blue, which is
Our favorite.
Yeah.
Our
Just
favorite.
just for reference, a code red is a fast siren.
Mm-hmm.
A code blue is a slow siren.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hear those, code red means go to a hard shelter. And JD's favorite joke is if the shelter's on fire, don't go to it. And then a blue means go to your campsite
Mm-hmm.
or the merit badge that you're in at the time. Or no,
No, it
always
means
go,
campsite.
yeah,
Go back to your
always go to your
campsite,
campsite. Yeah.
And for staff, code blue means we need to search the entire camp because
Right.
there could be.
so. For those of you who don't know what a code blue actually is, it's for a missing camper.
Mm-hmm.
So during staff week every year, it's like they'll break out a map of camp and kind of divide it up to where this staff member, this program area will check this area camp if a code blue is called.
Yeah.
So obviously we need to practice this. So during staff week, we'll do some code blue drills. So they'll pick a staff member or two to act as the lost campers, send them out to hide in different spots of camp, and see how long it takes for the staff members to find them. So this particular time, I was picked as one of the lost scouts, and I can't remember who it was with me. I want to say it was either Mike or JD.
Yeah, I think so.
They like to do it a lot because they like to.
Well,
Just,
they
yeah.
know that our area is going to be covered, so.
Exactly. So
They also don't want to run the drills, so.
Well, it's not like they're actually running.
Yeah.
So I went to go hide in my favorite campsite, Buffalo.
Oh.
So I get down to Buffalo and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to hide because I want to find somewhere that's not going to be obvious, but not somewhere it's like, hiding under a cabin where they're never going to find me.
Yeah.
Look under the
So you look under the cabins?
Yeah, very thorough.
Okay, well, I have a feeling that the next practice someone is going to be under.
Oh no.
All right. So I ended up choosing to hide in the little campsite latrine.
Mm-hmm.
So
Scary place.
it is a scary place, and it's also the first building or whatever that you get to whenever you enter Buffalo Campsite.
Right.
So my train of thought was thinking, okay, so this is a spot where not a lot of people go into, but it's also like the first thing you'll get to whenever you get to the campsite. So this could go one of two ways. Either I'm found immediately or it's going to take them a minute. So I'm hiding in there. I'm kind of sat up on top of the little bench that has the toilet seat so that they can't see my feet from under the walls.
Right.
And so I can kind of see a little bit over, see if the staff member is coming up the trail.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah. So siren goes, Code Blue's called over the radio, and lo and behold, here comes a wild staff member coming to check Buffalo, and I think Mountain Lion was her area. So obviously they're going to check Buffalo first because it's the first campsite you get to. So he's turning the corner, and I'm thinking, it's like, okay, is he going to check the latrine first? And lo and behold, he does. He starts going into the latrine, and it's like, darn, I'm caught so soon. So goes into the latrine, rounds the corner, we'll just lock eyes for a second, and I could tell pretty quickly he was definitely not expecting someone to be in there. So then another realization hit me. He was not running into the latrine to look for someone. No, he was running to the latrine because he needed to use the restroom.
Yeah.
And you know, when you have someone running near full sprint to use the bathroom and they're running towards the campsite latrine, they gotta go. They gotta go. So, yeah, that was just interesting for me.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. This particular staff member, every time we called a Code Blue, I just happened to have this problem of having to go to the bathroom every time.
Oh yeah, he didn't say you always had to go when Code Blue was called.
It was a joke that started to form around camp, and so every time you had a Code Blue, you just knew. And so this was like our first practice. So he was a brand new staff member at the time, and like it was hilarious.
Started off strong.
Yeah. And so and Steven came back and was like horrified. No, it wasn't that bad. But Steven came back and we were laughing at him, making him a hard time, just you know, goofing around. It's hilarious.
Oh.
But yeah, that was a fun story.
It is now time for the previous guest's question, which is from Mike Wolf, your former boss.
Oh.
And he asked, what is something you discovered when you joined camp staff that differed from your expectations?
Okay, so mine is probably how tired you can get, like, working summer. Because, you know, you get to the end of summer and you're just exhausted. Like, I get to week 4 and it's like my reserves of Camp David Crockett spirits, like, they haven't completely run out just yet, but they're starting to get there.
Yeah.
But, you know, whenever I was a camper coming along, it's like, I couldn't really tell, like, of the staff members that I interacted with, the top of my classes. It was like, and my troop usually went week 4, like towards the end of summer when everyone would be more exhausted. And, you know, so.
That is true. To be a staff member, you've got to know how to make your energy be excitable and energetic when you're in front of kids and just kind of lay down and like relax outside of that.
And how to make it last for an extended period of time.
Eventually you learn the skill of channeling tiredness into more energy.
Yeah.
It's a very strange phenomenon.
It is a very useful skill.
It's kind of like staff vision, where you just learn to see in the dark.
Yeah.
It hits about halfway through summer camp and on your first year, and then once that happens, you get to walk without a light. It's amazing.
I mean,
it is amazing.
As long as you don't take it too far to walk through like the pitch black and trip over people. I mean,
you see.
There are people who have been so stubborn that they have staff vision that they have like hurt themselves. So, you know.
But it's interesting. I don't know. I keep saying the word interesting.
You do. It's very interesting how much you use that word.
I've been filtering myself as I go to try not to watch it, but you know, it is what it is.
I'd say, to answer the question myself, when I first joined staff, I quickly discovered that camp staff members are not perfect human beings.
Right.
Which, you know, obviously no one's perfect, but like, and they're good people. But, you know, when you're a young scout first coming in, you kind of have this idealized version of them. Oh, it's all the really cool, awesome people. And they are cool, awesome people. But when you get here and you figure out, oh, like these are like real people who, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the same track with you. I think what the good part about like being on staff is you get to see the kind of behind the scenes of people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, not like you said, they're all good people. Like staff is truly a family. Like when we are here for 2 months and you're spending like 5 bathrooms for 50 people and you're within a 30-foot square of each other.
You really get to know some people.
Yeah,
over the course of the
yeah, you do. You have people run in on you for code blue and latrine, but it just happens, and so you really become a family, and so you all get to like, it's interesting,
right?
But getting to see the behind the scenes of people, because some people are really good at like being energetic and being that person that's go-to, and the kids love them, but when they come back they're just drained, and you can tell, and it's like it's not that their personalities change, it's just that you can just tell they're tired and not wanting to deal with it.
It's because no one can keep up that level of energy forever. Like obviously when you're a camper and you always see the energy, you just assume, man, these are the craziest bouncy people on the planet. Exactly. And some of them are. Some of them,
some of them actually are.
Yeah. But still, when you get behind the scenes and you get in your cabin at the staff lodge or whatever, and you need to crash, you need to build that energy back up.
Yeah.
So.
And becoming friends with your like heroes.
Yeah,
is cool.
It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
I think that's the cool part. Is this year I finally sat back and realized that, because JD had made the comment that he's the old man on camp. Well, us three and a couple other the directors are the older staff that like I looked up to when I was little.
Crazy to me.
Yeah,
like it doesn't feel like I've been on camp staff that long.
Right, but I mean, like I know for you guys as well. When I joined, I look up to the people who are like 5 or 6 years into it, and I was like, man, these people are awesome. And now we are
those guys.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure.
We are those people.
Yeah, it's true.
It is a lot of pressure.
I would say when I first felt that feeling of the curtain being rolled back was when I was a CIT and we were standing on the stage to sing Scout Vespers at the end of the campfire, and all the scouts were walking away, and I had this sudden realization of what happens after everyone leaves.
I know.
Because you always walk away and just hear the staff's voices fade away into the darkness, and I thought they just kept singing all night.
All night, yeah.
But then
until the next night, when the campfire got there.
But it's crazy to actually be there, and I won't tell anyone what happens next, because when you join staff, you get to find out.
You have to find out for yourself.
Yeah, you get to
sign up for camp staff.
Yeah, you can CIT. I think there's still slots available for that. So
all right, now Stephen.
This is my turn again. That's the next question. What question would you like to ask our next guest?
All right, question I'd like to ask our next guest. What is something that happens just during the course of a normal week of camp that you get really excited for? It's something you really look forward to during the week. Like for me, it's definitely the volleyball game Thursday night against the Scoutmasters.
I'm glad we've discussed this.
Okay. So something that happens
we're continuing the trend of mentioning.
Yeah, we didn't mention it at all.
We didn't mention it last week.
We had the volleyball coach Mike, and we had the old
team
man,
captain almost.
Yeah, JD here, and we didn't mention it all. I was very impressed with.
We had volleyball practice today.
That is true, and the team captain / team manager, whatever we call him. Team old man.
JD.
Well, and Mike. Said it went fairly well. So we've got some promising candidates.
Good. I wasn't there because I was working on the garden.
Neither were we, which was upsetting.
Well, apparently we get to, because Thursday night, which is tomorrow night for us, apparently there will be more volleyball to be had.
Which is really nice. We're going to get to play some cadets, and I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be honest. They are a little bit more athletic than I am.
Okay.
And a little bit more youthful than I am. And so
it's so weird to see the high school students and think, wait a minute, they're like really young.
I know.
It scares me.
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
I know. It is a weird feeling. And we're definitely in that transition stage of like life and of scouts in general.
It is
Are we
terrifying.
getting our midlife crisis?
I hope not.
This early in life.
Oh no.
I hope.
But no, I don't think that. But it's a weird realization that you got to make as you go through life, and you hit these where you start to turn 20, you become not a teenager, and just like
that's true. I am still a teenager.
It's true.
I haven't turned 20 yet,
Man.
So I'm too young to be thinking that high schoolers are young. But I'm just getting to that point where I'm aging too fast.
I'm definitely at that age at that point.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But,
well, Stephen, the final most important question: are you team doors or wheels?
I'm
I am team doors.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. We're not going to discuss that because I do have a thought of the day.
Okay. Well,
And-
I wanted to talk about the eyes and legs question that you asked, though.
Okay.
So you talked about like tables and potatoes and whatever. I was just thinking like life, biological.
Okay.
Which is there more? Which is actually a very interesting question to me now. My first thought was it must be legs because they're insects and centipedes and millipedes. They've got 2 eyes and they've got like
Yeah.
Think of how many ants there are.
Yeah, there are
Just
quadrillion
around the
ants,
world
as
right
we've
now.
established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they have
That's
all
what,
2 eyes.
6 quadrillion legs?
Yeah,
right
probably.
there.
Yeah.
But then I thought, I had this mind-blowing moment. The ocean exists.
The ocean.
And there are a lot of
Yes.
animals in the ocean. There is a lot of life in the ocean and pretty much no legs
Yeah.
in there. I mean, there's crabs.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of legs, but every single fish has got 2 eyes and not a single leg on them.
Yeah.
But then I thought, just how many insects there are. It's like, there's like a few million different species. We don't even know. So, I mean, obviously the real answer is we have no idea.
Yeah.
And I think probably a large portion of it counts on whether you count compound eyes, like on a fly, as 1 eye or as every single eye being
eyes.
different. Because that's going to be a big point in
That's gonna be
favor
a
of
lot of
eyes.
eyes right
Yeah.
there.
And that plus the fish, I feel like eyes would win. But
Right.
there's so many insects. Legs could win. It's a
Okay.
very fascinating question.
So today's thought of the day actually came from today.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, I know. We're on. I'm actually staying focused today. So at breakfast this morning, I had a conversation with, I think it was both of you and Mike. In the state of California, and I don't know the details of this,
I feel like I know where this is
they
going.
have decided that 4 species of
Bees.
Bees.
are classified as fish
Legally.
legally.
Not scientifically.
Yeah.
That is a court in the state of California that made that decision.
Now, was this like related to food stuff or what? Like,
I want to say from the little bit I've looked into this, because I found that on just scrolling through Facebook. I want to say last weekend, but from what I found, they were trying to add some bees to the endangered species list,
Okay.
which is run by California's Fish and Wildlife.
right?
Okay.
And they're not allowed to talk about insects.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Okay.
Okay.
But no, so apparently bees are fish.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been told this, and so it's weird. I have seen a lot of fish flying around the past day. It's crazy. I have talked about that with all my classes today of how many fish are in the world.
The reasoning annoyed me too because he said bees are invertebrates and so they're fish. Do they not know that fish have bones? They have they're vertebrates. Okay.
Gosh, okay.
Sorry,
I didn't
Mike.
realize it was going to get heated like
Sorry.
this.
I'm a little passionate
Getting
about
very
this.
passionate.
But I don't know. It's strange. It's definitely something to be thinking about as you see bees down here at camp, because you are definitely going to see.
I think you mean all the fish.
The California fish.
But what I think's more strange, could we? So we have a problem a little bit with catching fish for the fishing merit badge.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Can we go and combine beekeeping and fishing at the same time?
Beekeeping isn't a merit badge.
Well,
but it's not a merit badge, but like combined.
Sure.
So here's the question: do we have any bees on camp that are one of the 4 species?
Yeah, and
That
can
they
we go
call
fishing?
fish.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's
If
true.
you're at a scout camp in California,
Yeah,
you're teaching
yeah.
fishing merit badge. Go out and get you some bees.
Yeah, then you can get
You
it for the
fulfilled
fishing
the
merit
merit
Mission
badge.
accomplished.
So
Oh my goodness! Did you just make a fish pun?
Did I?
I don't know.
I thought you said fishing accomplished.
Oh.
Now that you say it,
That would've been funny.
I wish I made that pun, but no.
There's a
Yeah.
dog out there.
Yeah,
There
that's
is a
true.
dog outside.
We hear the dog, Annie. She wants to be on the podcast. Okay. Anyways,
Say hi.
I
Now
think
she is.
I
Hold on,
think
wait. I
that
had
is-
one last segment. Can we close the window
Oh,
or something?
man.
I don't know. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We paused to close the windows to block out the dog. Okay.
Okay, no,
So-
maybe we interview Annie one time. So but
Maybe,
we did
okay.
pause, and so
Right. Our last new segment. This is what I'm bringing in for the summer. Is
Oh.
staff quotes.
oh
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I have
okay.
recorded quotes from staff, and I'm going to read them and have you guess. I'm going to have Hayden guess who said them. Unfortunately, I already test ran this with Steven earlier.
Oh.
He did already
So
test
he-
run with me.
Listen,
You might-
maybe you have him read a couple.
He might know who
I
said,
could-
well, I have my my phone off so it doesn't interfere with the microphone.
Oh.
But I remembered 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I
we
have,
can't read those.
Yeah. I have extras. I thought maybe I might post some of the extra staff quotes on our Twitter page.
Oh,
Because
okay.
there's been nothing exclusive on there. So, you know, if you want extra staff quotes, you can follow us on Twitter at Davey Chronicles.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I've got 3 quotes for you. You have to guess who said them. Okay.
Okay.
First one. Why does it have to be the little rains?
Why does it have to be the little rains?
You know, I don't feel like you ran this one by me. I don't
Okay.
know this one.
Okay, so we're going to break this down.
Okay.
So I assume that this person is on your staff.
No.
Okay, so that
Is he
cut
on
out.
staff?
Yes.
Yes, he has to be on
These
staff.
are all on staff.
Okay, so we're going to do this guess who style.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a male.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Statistically, there's less females than males, and so it's going to be a male.
Okay.
Okay, scientific. Did you see that? I think that this is either something Shade said or something Clayton said.
I could see either one of those saying this.
I am going with Clayton because I feel like that's a Clayton thing to say.
I'll go ahead and guess Shade then.
Okay. Bingo. Hayden, it's Clayton.
Yeah.
Clayton said it. Good
Okay.
job. All right. All right. Here's the next quote. My favorite type of pollution is cereal.
Daniel Rose.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
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 Here's the last one. This is the extra hard round. Okay. I don't think bread is the enemy.
Okay.
That's just a fun quote. in
Okay,
general.
let's see. I don't think bread is the enemy. Who would say that? Okay, so it had to be at a meal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've got that. Who would you have been? So it was in staff camp. I'm trying to think of who would have been around you. Sean, maybe?
No, that's a good guess.
No,
though.
that's a good
I feel
guess.
like that's something Sean
I
would say.
feel like I know this one. This
What
is
do you
one that he
think?
did run. Well, this is one he did
ahead,
run
go,
by.
Okay, go ahead and say it.
Was it Dan?
No.
No,
I didn't
I'm
know
thinking of the
it
wrong
wouldn't
one.
be Dan because it wouldn't be. It would have been during lunch, and Dan would have been with us because Dan was going to be. I was going to guess Dan because that
True.
sounds like something he
True.
would
Okay.
say.
Now I'll give you a hint. This is why I thought it might be hard because you don't know this person that well yet. It's a first year staff.
It's Hayden.
Oh yeah, there is another
It's the
Hayden.
other
Yeah.
It was not Hayden. You want me to tell you?
Yes.
It was Ross.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah,
that sounds like a pretty good quote from him.
it was. I won't tell you the context. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I just.
It was to do with lunch though. We were at the
Yeah.
dining hall though.
So I guessed everything else right. I don't think bread's the enemy.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
So I've been.
Someone
told.
else did. That's the context.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't want to eat the bread.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good response.
That is a pretty good one.
Well, see, the thing is, it was like a whole conversation because
Right.
they were talking about it. I didn't realize that they were still talking. We started a whole other conversation for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden I hear over there, I don't think bread is the enemy. And I tuned in back to them. They're still talking about the bread.
I like to imagine someone was sitting on the edge of dining hall or something, and they were just like, "Oh, I don't want this bread." And Ross was walking by, and he said, "I don't think bread's the enemy," and just kept walking.
Yeah. That'd be great. Anyway,
So can we take guesses as to who thought that bread was the enemy?
who do you think it was?
Do you know that
Yes,
information?
I
Okay.
do.
So I assume it's somebody who would talk to Ross, so probably Shade or Clayton.
No.
So
Carl.
what program area does Ross work in? Because that's one thing
Scoutcraft,
I don't know.
I think. Scoutcraft
Yeah,
or
I
STEM.
think so. I
He's
think
merit
it's
badge, but
Scoutcraft.
not under me.
I'm not sure. I don't know who.
This was someone who wasn't eating bread for dietary reasons.
Oh. I don't know who's allergic
See,
to
I
bread.
feel like there's so many new staff.
Yeah, that's true.
This year.
I haven't got to meet anybody really because we haven't been there for
Right.
staff training.
Right.
So that's what made this a little bit difficult. I have talked to Ross once.
Okay.
So who was the enemy?
They were,
Not
who
the
was,
bread.
Who was bread's enemy?
Yeah.
It was Foster.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay. Anyway, I think we may have run a bit over time now with the staff.
No,
notes,
I don't think so.
Are we not? Okay.
No.
Well,
I think there's one more thing that we should go over though.
What's that?
Since this is the first episode that goes out week 1.
yes,
and
that's true.
That is the patch.
The patch. Oh, yeah, we have to remember
Yeah.
to mention the patch again. Yes. If you want to get the official Camp David Chronicles patch, how you get it, you come up to one of either me or Hayden, and you use one of the words of the day, like Malafor, in a sentence.
So I have a question
Yes.
about my word of the day. So can you, for my word of the day, use either the word Malafor in a sentence or use a Malafor in
If
a
you
sentence?
use a Malafor,
No,
I mean, you might need to be like, what? What did you just say? And they say it's a Malifaux. And I'm like, oh, podcast.
Yeah.
And then we'll give you the, yeah. But anyway, that's a good alternative option. You can use a Malifaux.
Don't just walk up to us and tell us you're going to burn bridges.
Yeah, don't
it has to be something original.
Don't use Steven's example. Make up your own Malifaux. You know.
Now,
anyway.
and remember, there's only 50 a week. So they're a limited quantity of each one. So if you want to do it, you got to do it fast. But remember, do not disturb us during merit badge classes.
Yeah. If you come up to us during a class, it doesn't count. But
all the meals are perfectly fine. You can disturb us while we're eating.
Or open time at our areas is fine.
Or any open time.
Yeah. Or if you just see us around camp. Yeah. So tell one of us the word of the day. In a sentence, we'll give you a card, and then you take it to the other one. And then they'll give you the patch. So you got to meet both of us.
Which means I'm going to be particularly hard to find this summer because I'm going to stay away.
Well, anyway, no, you won't.
No,
right?
I won't.
Okay,
No.
Good. Follow us on Instagram at Camp Davy Chronicles to see the flower bed and other pictures. Pick new picture every day during the summer camp. Yeah. On Instagram.
There's also a picture of Dale of like a puppy that Dale's watching right now.
Oh yeah,
super cute.
Dale's new puppy Peanut.
If for no other reason to follow them on Instagram to see the puppy.
Yes.
It's a good reason.
It is a very cute puppy.
Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive video content during the summer. We've already got, I put up a response to the episode in which I was not here. And then we also have our studio tour that went up this weekend.
All right. I think we did well.
I think we did very well.
Any final thoughts, Stephen?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, you know what we always say here on the Camp Davy Chronicles. Do you want to say it?
I'm not going to say
it.
Man.
I still want to try and say I'm JD and Mike's good side.
Okay. Well, that's probably smart, honestly. But it's a great day to be a scout at Camp Davy. Fun.
Bye.